Hello everyone, I am Mikayla from Breakthrough M2 and I'm here with Christopher.
Hi, I'm Christopher.
And we are doing a success interview today about Chris's journey and his weight loss success. So Chris, we have some questions today and I'm really excited to kind of dive into what you did and really what you experienced.
Okay.
So we originally met Chris a few years ago and he had fantastic success with us. He did keep most of his weight off, but my question is, why did you choose to come back to Breakthrough M2 again?
Well, what happened was life happened. I suffered an awful heartbreak in late 2017. All these things happened. I let this person into my life and I knew it was wrong. I knew I was messing up, and the first thing the universe did is it took one of my cats away. My cat Missy vanished. I'll never know what happened to her. And that was a direct result as I reacted in anger towards my animal. She had knocked my macadamias and almonds off the top of the fridge. And I was like, get out that door. And then I realized like 2 days later, she was gone. I'll never know what happened. I remember that was a weird day. That was the beginning of downhill. Like, it devastated me. It still hurts today talking about it. And I fought hard. I'm a fighter, and I hung in there for a long time. But between 2018 and 2022, so many other things happened. I lost both of my parents 5 days apart.
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. I got up for work that morning, and I thought Mom was having a bad dream. That was January 20th, right in the beginning, right when COVID was hitting. And I thought Mom was having a bad dream, and she was in cardiac arrest. And I watched this thing slam into her and break her before it killed her. And then Dad went 5 days later, and all this stuff happening and struggling, the first thing that happened, it was when I became broken inside, the first thing that came back was the bad eating habits. And it took a long time because of the nature of the breakthrough program, and because I had done it so well. It takes a long time for that stuff to get back into us and for a human being to become toxic again. But, about 100 days ago, like, I knew, I had made up my mind, I'm going to have to do it again because I know nothing else works. Anything else, you try to lose weight, you're spinning gears. I've already done it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I was up, when I finished my fat loading this time, when I started, I was at 203. And I finished the fat loading, I was at 208. And then I took off 48 pounds in 98 days, and I'm lower now than I ever thought I could possibly be.
Wow. Congratulations on
Thank you.
that. Yeah, and you mentioned how, a heartbreak kind of led to those emotional eating patterns. How did you gain back that control? Where did you go mentally to kind of get yourself back into balance?
Well, like I was saying to you before we started, like, I have a much better understanding now of who I am and what I'm made of. When you lose both your parents in that short a span of time, I had my great Aunt Helen in the mix, and I've been going through all kinds of stuff with her and Mom over the years. And I'm the son that stayed behind. I have two other brothers, and one's in California, one's in Florida. I've left home many times, but I always would come back home. And I never liked my mom being alone. And I wasn't the best son. I've had all kinds of struggles with addiction, but at the same time, there's times when I've been a good son to her. And she was safer because I was there. And
of course,
in the old Sicilian traditions, unless you find a woman to marry and make a new home with, you never leave your mother. And I'm grounded in that. And so I knew it was coming. I knew I was going to have to do the program again. And, the day I went and told Aunt Helen, Mom's dead, and I remember she looked at me. She had this lost look, and she's like, your mom was my rock. What am I going to do? And I said, well, I'm going to be your rock now, and you're going to come live with me, Aunt Helen, and I'm going to take care of you. So I already had that stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I knew how strong I was internally.
Absolutely.
And I threw caution to the wind for a while. I just ate whatever I wanted for a minute there. My job as a medical courier, I would make my drop in Queens, cross over into Manhattan, go into Times Square, and Krispy Kreme donuts,
Right.
pot stickers.
So many temptations.
I was having a good time there for a while, but I knew I was going to have to pay for it. I knew what was coming, and I prepared myself mentally and spiritually prior to it. And the beauty of it, the reason Breakthrough M2 works so well is the people. Because when a human being does this, you're not alone, and you have all these incredible, wonderful, supportive people to reach out to. And the strength of it is they're all doing the same thing. They all get up every day and they have 90 ounces or so of water waiting to be drunk, and I still feel fear every morning when I look at this thing. I'm like, I hate you. Why do I have to deal, you know? And then halfway through it, I'm like, I'm going to break you. You're not going to win. I'm going to beat you again today. Every day it's like this. But in my subconscious, I know when you're well hydrated and your cells are hydrated, everything works better and your body works the way nature intended for our bodies to work, you know?
Yeah.
So I had all that going for me and all that mentally in place before I reached out and started to get the drops coming to me, you know?
That's awesome. So you really prepared. I mean, we are very big advocates for prep for success. And we have people go through their prep week. We have people really gear up with their education and, of course, the physical prep. But physically, you know, during the program, how did your body shift? Like, what's the difference between, like, how you were feeling to where you are now? Like, what is going on physically that you just love?
More than anything is I'm getting to actually see the rewards of things I did earlier in life. When I was, you know, the first time when I was 4'10", I want you guys to know, like, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I used to weigh 410 pounds. I had a 72-inch waist. I was almost dead. I was starting to get to that point where your organs start to shut down. And I reversed that in my 4th decade of life. You can do anything that you want to do if you set your mind to it. The power of our minds is intangible, okay? And I want men that are watching this to understand that. So that first time I took myself from 410 to 250, and, you know, I got the sleeve gastrectomy, and that got the first 120 pounds off. That gave me the courage to walk into a gym again. And then I had this female trainer, Michelle, and I remember she had a mug on her desk that said the tears of men. And it was true. She broke me over and over. 1.5 years of blood and guts on that gym floor. And she would take me to Vanderbilt Mansion and have me do this thing called bear walking. It was brutal. I've never done anything like it. And I remember she asked, what do you want? And I told her I want to train for strength and vascularity. More than anything, I want to be able to see the veinature in my body. And I saw a little bit of it for a little while, and then when the stuff that we spoke about earlier happened, it all went away. And the greatest gift that has come back to me is I've been doing the program this time. It's come back to me. Like one day I was out in the yard working, and then I went back inside and caught myself in the mirror, and I could see veins popping out in my thighs. I got veins popping in both of my forearms now. My forearms are ridiculous. When my shirt is off and I'm drying off after a shower, I have veins popping out all over my rear deltoids, all the upper musculature. I'm even starting to see veins now in my pectoral muscles. Things I've never seen in my body before that I always envied in other men.
Right.
I'm starting to get those gifts now of work that I've done earlier in life, and that's because of the nature of what this Breakthrough M2 does to the human body.
That's beautiful. And we would also classify that as a non-scale victory because, you know, like anything that is not just related to the scale is just a beautiful bonus, you know, like, oh, I can tie my shoes without being out of breath. You know, I can see the veins in my body that I just absolutely love that I used to envy, but now you've achieved that, which is so awesome. Like you literally have manifested that for yourself. That's a goal you had. Yeah, it took time, but with anything, you know, time will bring you to where you want to be if you put your mind to it. So it's exciting. It's really exciting.
Time means things I must earn.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So just to bring it to another space here. So I was following your journey on Team Breakthrough, and that's our private Facebook page for our group. You were hitting some plateaus, which I knew sometimes were discouraging. When you're doing the program, how did you get through those?
Well, the first thing I do is reached out to you.
Okay, yep.
And to Nan and to Nadine, because knowledge is power. And you guys have the knowledge. You guys have the power. I knew, all my life, I knew something was wrong. I kept trying one weight loss regimen after another, and I kept on failing. And I was like, I know these people that are succeeding that I'm seeing all around me. I know that they know something, but they're not giving it away. They just want my money. All the online people, and I could spat off a river of names right now of charlatans, but we're not here to do that.
No.
And but I knew something was terribly wrong, and that's when I found you guys, and you actually gave me that knowledge. You gave me the power I never had, so I knew to come back to you, and you taught me about plateaus and what to do, and how to break through them to do the healthy fat days. And what I implemented is I started doing, every Saturday, I would. It's also in Dr. Simeon's book.
Right.
The first thing I did before I started the low calorie this time is I read his book twice, and I wanted to get a real flavor for who the man was and how he ticked. And he talks about it in his book, and he uses his exact words were eat an enormous steak, give the body some healthy fats. So what I've been doing is every Saturday I would go out to my favorite steakhouse. They have grass-fed, grass-finished meat, because we know if you feed a cow grain at any stage of its life, the meat changes and it gets stripped of the B vitamins and the cow becomes sick and the meat is different. We're surrounded by steakhouses where they're serving, they call it grass-fed meat, but what they're doing is they're feeding the animals grain their entire life and then they finish it with grass. That's like having a car and running it for 5 years and never changing the oil, and then at the last minute before you sell it, you change the oil 3 times. It doesn't work. When the animal is fed grass its entire life, for the whole stage of its life, the meat becomes a superfood. It's a completely different thing. And that's the place where I go and eat. And I would get up in the morning, I would get my water in. I would still have my breadstick. I would still have my initial vegetable. And then I would start to hit my body with avocado,
Okay.
And I would make sure I had a full avocado in before I got to the steakhouse. Then I would eat my giant steak. I would have my wonderful salad. I was allowing myself the dried cranberries then because it was just so delicious.
Okay. Yeah.
The way the cranberries would mix on my tongue with the fresh cracked black pepper. Delicious, man. It's like the best salad I ever had at Joseph's Italian Steakhouse. They do salad right. And
this is not sponsored, but nice.
I'm sorry, couldn't help it. I love the guy. His wife is suffering from cancer, and he still finds it in himself to make the rounds of his restaurant and make sure his clients are good. That's a stand-up guy right there.
That's
and
awesome.
I would go there, eat an enormous steak. One night he's got a 40-ounce cowboy ribeye, and I almost finished the thing off. And what would happen is the next day, I would be up maybe a pound, maybe a pound and a half, but within 72 hours, my body would drop 4 pounds, And that's how I took the last 20 pounds off.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, so sometimes things on Breakthrough can be tailored to certain people. Not everything works for everybody. And Chris here is more of a veteran client of Breakthrough. So whatever works for certain people, and as they're coaching themselves,
The important thing to note is after that day I just described to you, that Sunday, I would get up that Sunday right back into low calorie. No skip ups, no mistakes,
Awesome.
Disciplined in the mind. I knew what I was going to do, and I knew I was going to succeed at it.
Right, yeah. So, basically, it's you knowing your body is what I'm getting at. You knew what you needed to do. We didn't give you that exact instruction, but you did take the healthy high fat, and you did what you needed to do. Of course, you searched out an amazing source of meat, which is awesome, and then you saw your results. So that's fantastic.
Yep, and I did tweak it a little bit, like what you guys gave to me. I tweaked it and experimented with it, and like you said, I followed my instincts, and I made sure I noted that on the website when I was talking to people about it. I was like, make sure coaches are the be-all, end-all with this. You have to talk to your coach before you do something like this.
Yeah.
You have to have that foundational knowledge and be grounded. You have to prime yourself for success, and the way you do that is with knowledge, and you use the coaches.
Absolutely.
They're invaluable.
So yeah, the first time, I know you were supported by one of our accountability coaches, but this time you went coachless. But you did form an amazing relationship with the coaches and, our entire team. But you weren't alone this journey, and I know you used the Team Breakthrough page, for your success. So tell me how the Team Breakthrough M2 page has helped your success.
Well, it's just there, and everybody's there to support you. And because of my time constraints, and taking care of a 98-year-old woman and overseeing her entire care team and keeping track of all that and getting everybody paid and receipting everything and running an entire household single-handedly and running a business, which is what I do because I'm an independent contractor, I knew that I physically just didn't have the time to set up times to call a coach.
Right.
I'm home taking care of Aunt Helen then. So I knew that wasn't available to me, but I knew the website was. I knew the people that I needed were there. I knew there would never be a question I would ask that I wouldn't be flooded with responses, and I knew I had you and Nadine.
Right.
So I knew I would be okay as long as I didn't feel alone while I was doing it.
Like, how did you writing on the page help you, and how do you feel it helped others?
It's just always a reaffirmation for me. I've learned everything we write, everything we say, it's so important. Our subconscious mind hears everything. Even I've learned to I used to make like little jokes about myself that would seem harmless in nature, but the subconscious mind, it hears everything. And if you'd make a joke about yourself, if it's derogatory in any shape or manner, your subconscious mind can take that and manifest it and get you to start to make healthy decisions consciously.
Right.
And I learned everything I'm writing matters. Everything coming out of my mouth matters. Continuously affecting human beings in either a positive way or a negative way. Everything, my caricature, the way I carry myself, my body language, the way I convey myself as a human being. So it's incredibly important. And I was always very careful when I was writing on the page to not come across as arrogant or boastful. I just wanted to say, people to see it's working. This is what I'm doing. We're all doing this together. I can't do this without you. I'm succeeding because you are all succeeding. We're a team,
Absolutely.
And it was very important. That's what I wanted to convey while I was doing it this time.
Yeah. And do you think from the first time you did this program to now that your mindset has shifted? Like, you have so much wisdom when it comes to even just picking up on the little things that you used to say. Do you think that from between all of those years, your mindset has changed?
Absolutely. I'm a stronger, better, smarter person. I've gotten much smarter
than
I used to be.
Smart cookie. Well, that's awesome. So now you've just moved into transition, and Breakthrough M2 emphasizes the step 4 transition as just as important as losing the weight in step 2. Not doing step 4 properly is one of the biggest reasons why people gain weight back. What tools or habits are you excited to focus on to maintain your success this time?
Well, I'd like to say, in my humble estimation, that transition's even more important than the low-calorie step 3, because in low-calorie, people can cheat and you get away with it. But the thing is, all right, so when you're doing low-calorie and you're using these incredibly powerful drops, you can make a mistake and you can still succeed. All it does is it means more time. It takes a couple days. It could be 2 days. It could be 5. But if you get back into low calorie and stick with it, your body will start to do what it was doing again before you messed up. The thing with transition is when you come off of the drops, our bodies are like wet cement. And the fat cells are large and they're kind of inflamed. They've gotten smaller, but if I'm not mistaken, the purpose of transition is the fat cells become really, really small.
They don't ever go away.
They don't ever go away.
Right.
I used to wish that, but I know they don't ever go away.
It's true.
But they get really, really minuscule, and they get really, really hard and impermeable, and it becomes very, very hard for them to become reinflated. Right. And this is what allows people like me who have eaten incorrectly their entire lives, that it used to be, if I would eat the wrong thing, I would gain 3 pounds overnight. And I couldn't do it successfully. I couldn't have a good night out and then bounce back like a normal human being. And this is the real gift of the Breakthrough program. When I'm done with transition, I'll be able to live by the 90-10 rule the rest of my life.
Yes.
And there'll be nights where I can go out and eat 6 Krispy Kreme donuts And I'll get up in the morning and my weight will have not changed. And then I have to go back to eating responsibly. But I get to do things like that in the future and have my body react as if it's never been abused dramatically as it has been, because you have to think about the trauma on my body. 410 pounds, then the initial sleeve gastrectomy. I had to endure 5 different surgeries to cut the skin off my body. The plastic surgeon had to rebuild my abdominal wall. This is what I did to myself. This is the trauma I went through, and this program still worked for me. I cannot impress that enough upon people's brains.
That's amazing. Like, I think that with the trauma and that you're talking about, the body is resilient, and if you want something enough, you can make it happen. And the beauty of this program is that it can work with anyone's body, for the most part. And I think it's really courageous that you had such an amazing journey. I mean, at 410 pounds, I'm sure you were feeling defeated and a lot of emotion. And then after you had the sleeve and you went through all of that work with the trainer and then breakthrough, like, the journey is incredible, but so rewarding.
I had given up, Mikayla. I was actively seeking my death. I thought it was over.
Yeah.
I thought it was over. Then this gray cat showed up in my backyard, and my whole life I've been rescuing animals far away from home.
Right.
This is the first time that an animal showed up at my house, and I took an interest in this animal, and I took it to the animal sanctuary, and I met these people, and I knew I saw they needed my help. And I got that first bite of wanting to, I got a reason to want to be here, but I was like, look what you've done, you're useless. What are you going to do? But it gave me the beginning of wanting power to maybe think I wanted to stay, and then it went from there.
Wow. And yeah, I know a lot of people who, I've seen a lot of different interviews, a lot of different videos of people who were on the crux of just wanting to give up, and then one thing that struck their heart is the thing that really kept them alive. And then it opened a whole new door and a whole new world. And I think that's amazing, that the work that you do with animals. I think that you're one of the people I think of most, actually, when I think of animal work, and it's awesome. I think I think it's an amazing thing to do. I mean, so many people have such a big heart for animals, so I'm so happy that was the thing that struck gold for you, and that's why you're here. It's why you're literally sitting next to me. So
I'm so lucky.
Yeah,
I figured it out. We were put on earth to love and protect the innocent, and they remain innocent for life. We're surrounded by them all the time. He gave us these gifts. He, she, whatever it is, that benevolent, loving force, they put them here for us. And that's what makes any kind of animal abuse such a greater tragedy than abuse in and of itself is, because they're innocent. We're supposed to love them and protect them. Right,
and love ourselves too. I mean, I think love is the most powerful energy of the world, and that is why we're here. The message of love. And you did self-love work. You are here because you loved yourself enough to be who you are and be in the body you're in.
Yeah, I can actually say it. I love myself, and my heart has no fathoms. I'm still finding out how deep this thing is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's getting there.
The journey will never end.
I never thought I'd be able to say I love myself and really feel it and believe it inside.
That's beautiful.
I never thought days like this would happen.
The surreal, like the realism, you know?
It is surrealistic.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I feel like I've answered this question. Do you think you've leveled up or transformed in any new ways? Is there anything else that comes to mind that you've leveled up or transformed? I think that transformation has just kind of been spoken.
Yeah, but I still, I get up every morning and I look in the mirror and I'd say, Christopher, you're just getting started, man. You still don't know what you're really capable of. Just keep going. Keep making healthy choices. Keep protecting the innocent. Keep being kind to other human beings. Don't be arrogant. Don't be mean. Give people the benefit of the doubt. You never know what the other person is going through or what happened to them. And that's my mantra now.
That's awesome. You're living your best life because you're feeling your best in your body. But now it just goes further than that, and you're able to just mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally take it to the next level.
I have to, because I'm a recovering addict, as you know.
Right.
And we are taught we can only keep what we have by giving it away. So I'm constantly looking for ways to give back so I can keep what so graciously has been bestowed upon me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And what you give, you're also receiving. I mean, this is a give and receive as well. So I'm grateful.
Me too.
I
love your dog too.
Thanks. She loves you too. This is my last question. So lastly, is there any advice you can give to anyone considering the Breakthrough M2 program?
Without bad talking anybody or anything, I want people to know you've been lied to since birth about food and about the right things to eat. You've been lied to by your government, by the FDA. That's as far as I'll go into it. You've been given incorrect information your whole life, and the tapes running in your mind are incorrect. If you keep trying and you're failing, and if you're killing yourself in a gym, and everything you try, you might lose a little bit of weight, but you never feel good inside, and the weight comes back, it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. You've just been given the incorrect information. You could hit me up and I'll start to share some correct information with you, or you can hit up Breakthrough M2 and they'll support you and nurture you and love you, and they'll give you the knowledge, the same knowledge that they gave to me, and it's the correct knowledge, and it's as close as we can get to the fountain of youth in the realm that we're in right now. I know it in my heart. It worked for me. It'll work for any one of you that's watching this, male or female. And I want you guys to know, not only did I lose meat off my body this time, but I've gotten stronger. I put on 2 pounds of new muscle. My body is hard. It's getting dense and thick and strong again, like I'm about to hit 57. And I'm as strong now as I was in my early 20s.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for that advice, and thank you for opening your heart up today. Thank you for speaking to our clients and people who maybe not be our M2 members. Our arms are open wide for people to
wide, like no one I've ever met before, man.
Discover what is possible, discover your own new breakthrough. We want you to have your breakthrough, and just live life without the extra weight, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and do something great, because this world needs a lot more greatness. So,
and in the famous words of John Voight in Runaway Train, you don't know what you can do, you can't do.
That's awesome. Yes, Chris. Oh, well, thank you, Chris. I think that is it from me today. Okay. You are awesome, and
you're awesome.
Yeah.
You're awesome, Curtis.
Ooh, thank you.
And you're awesome. All right.
And so is Riley.
Yeah.
And so is Riley.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tune in next time for another amazing interview, and keep going.
Have a good day, folks.
Bye.
Bye.